All right, we are back. Another Celtics 2025 NBA draft scouting video today. Adou Thiero out of Arkansas. No ceilings draft guide. Lists him at 6'7", 7 foot. He's listed as a wing in their database. I'll pull it up here so you guys can take a look at exactly what I'm seeing as well. This is Adou Thiero. Again, Arkansas, Razorback, 6'7", 7 foot wingspan, 20 years old. Didn't play much as a freshman. Enjoyed a breakout season last year with, a little bit of a breakout season for the Wildcats. Then he went to Arkansas to follow Coach Cal. Here in the mock or the big board for Kevin O'Connor compares him to Jay Crowder and Stanley Johnson. Strengths are straight line driving, passing, and defense. Concerns are shooting, shot creation, and defensive discipline. And that's where we're at. I've seen him mock to the Celtics in a few different drafts, and we're going to take a look today.
Yeah, those of you in the comments have been pumped about Adou Thiero, and we're here for you. We listen. We pay attention. We think he might be a little bit similar to Jordan Walsh, just thinking about his player build. Good defender. The billing on Yahoo is maybe he can be a 3-and-D role player, which I think we're all hoping Jordan Walsh can be, and he shot 25.6% from 3 last year. But he is an exciting guy. He plays with quite the motor, and he is someone who's going to bust his ass out there at the very least. So I can understand why people are excited about him. Not entirely sure how sold I am.
Yeah, the Ringer has him as 34th on their big board. Hustled, off-ball defense, rebounding, got that dog in him. Compared him to Monty Kamara, Mo Harkless, Haywood Highsmith, Torrey Craig. So there's some comps for you. We can take a look at the highlights here. Again, shout out to No Ceilings. Thanks to them for putting these videos together. Let's see what Adou Thiero has got. Average 15.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 1.6 steals. At Kentucky, 55 from the field, 26-ish from 3. Not a good free throw shooter either, so that doesn't bode very well.
He definitely has the physique of an NBA forward. Like, he's not like Jordan Walsh in the sense that we're sitting here like, man, he needs to put on some muscle. He looks like he's got the build. He can probably defend stronger forwards already, or at least compete. Like, he's not going to get pushed around like a paperclip. The dunks are exciting. I think that's why everyone was super hyped for us to look at him. I mean, look at these jams he's throwing down. He looks like a freak athlete. This one's pretty crazy in the fast break, just windmill with the guy chasing him down.
Yeah. Is Jordan Walsh at the combine when he measured in was 204, and he was no shoes was 6'5.75 and 204. Adou Thiero is listed at 6'6.25 and 218. So he's a little bit heavier. He's got a little bit more bulk to him than Jordan Walsh did. I don't know how smart it is to take. I mean, I say it all the time. I think it's so overrated. The athletic, I get the defense is a big part of it. This whole he's a super athlete, can he learn how to shoot? No, he's not going to learn how to shoot. I have a spoiler alert. Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Anthony Bennett, and Jordan Walsh all have a spoiler alert for you. He's not going to learn how to shoot. Like they don't learn how to shoot. He's got a fine jump shot. It looks a lot like Jordan Walsh's jump shot. I'm sorry. And again, right here, and I don't mean to be a pessimist immediately. The fact that he didn't even think about shooting this ball, like it was never a thought in his mind to shoot this ball. Look at this. Before he even catches it, he's driving. It was never even a thought to shoot the wide open 3. Never a thought. Never even a consideration.
I mean, in his defense, if I could jump like him, I think I'd be like, line to the basket, watch this.
But I get it. If there weren't 3 different defenders exactly where he needs to go. If there weren't 4, there's 4 sets of feet in the paint right now, and he didn't even think about shooting the ball.
Yeah, it's a fair critique. There are guys that develop a jump shot, but there are plenty of examples of guys who do not. And the telltale of guys that may have a shot to be decent jump shooters is free throw percentage, and he's sub 70 in college, which is not the most encouraging sign.
I don't know, man. I'm not in on these non-shooters. I don't love it. I understand it. I understand the appeal. Just think of like the history. Justice Winslow, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Zaire Williams, Terrence Ferguson, like all of these mega athletes. That's like if they can just learn how to shoot, they'd be so good. And then what happened? Then they didn't learn how to shoot. This is the jump shot.
I can't really argue this because I'm not as much of a historic draft guy where I would be like, oh well, this guy had the same kind of comp, but he did learn to shoot. It is possible. I am in the camp that I think guys can learn how to shoot, but it depends on how capable they are as someone who makes free throws, and he doesn't really do that. Like, the first guy that came to mind was Tatum. Tatum coming out of college, like, one of the weaknesses was painted. He's not the best three-point shooter. He was 34% for Duke, but he shot 85% from the free throw line. Like, that is the difference. I also think
there is, like, I just looked it up, right? There is an example here. Jeremy Grant shot 30% in college, and then he's a career 36 in the NBA. Also, the difference is Jeremy Grant was 6 of 20. He didn't take threes in college. Like he like there's a difference between that. And then in Tatum's case, there is he took a lot of, I assume, self-created threes. Like there's also the nuance of what types of threes is the guy taking. I can't imagine Adou Thiero was taking a lot of, I'm going to take a step back, dribble three, create for myself, right? Like that doesn't seem like, from what we've seen, the type of guy. He's probably taking a lot of those. And that jump shot does not look very conducive to definitely going to be a good three-point shooter in the NBA. He's a freak athlete, don't get me wrong. And I'm sure it'll be exciting if the Celtics take him because of the defense and the driving and everything. But I don't know. I get very sus. We can take a look at the playmaking and the defense as well to see what we got. But
7-foot wingspan is nice too, for what it's worth.
Sure.
I think that's something to be excited about. And we have seen a handful of guys be successful NBA players.
Walsh's wingspan 7'1.75 for context.
Okay. Well, there you go. Like, when I see the comp or the player profile have motor on it, I think Josh Hart. And, like, a lot of the things that Adou Thiero has are, like, motor things. Like, offensive rebounding is something that's highlighted in the No Ceilings draft guide. He can still be an effective rotation player eventually. Like, you laugh at Josh Hart, but, like, Josh Hart was a real effective...
Josh Hart is awesome. He's awesome. How many Josh Harts are there? He's awesome because he's so unique that it is, like, you have to be an unbelievable passer, an unbelievable rebounder, an unbelievable defender in order to be Josh Hart and have unbelievable spatial awareness on the offensive end to make up for the fact that you're not a good shooter. It
also took Josh Hart like 5 teams.
Exactly. And there's a reason we see like one Josh Hart and a million Matisse Thybulles and a million Zaire Williams and a million, like all of these guys who could be Josh Hart if they can't shoot, that don't be Josh Hart because they're not good enough at all that other stuff. So like, I get that it's possible, but taking a swing on a guy who needs to reach all of these like very niche, very important requirements just to be a role player who got played out of the starting lineup in the playoffs is like, I don't love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I don't love it. And we can look at the defense too. I'm not a fan of these types of players. I think the mega athletes who are super good at other things, like phenomenal, unbelievable defense. That was a sick block. That was awesome. It's hard because when you can get played off the floor, and also like, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Right here, what are we doing? What is this? Like, you're getting killed if you do that in the NBA. Like that's
not even guarding the guy.
Risk. Freak athlete though, freak defender. Don't get me wrong, phenomenal defender. And I mean, there is teams who can take a chance. I mean, an example of a guy who's not a terrible 3-point shooter right now in the NBA or was awful in college, Ryan Dunn, right? Like he can shoot a little bit in the NBA. He's not amazing. I think people got a little bit too drawn in by his hot start. I mean, to see what he finished with. He finished the year.
He definitely
shooting.
Cooled off.
Yeah, 31% from 3-on-3 attempts. So like he definitely cooled off, but like it is possible to develop a little bit. But I guarantee you teams aren't itching to guard Ryan Dunn at the 3-point line either. And again, I'm not saying 3-point shooting is everything. This defense is phenomenal, but we've seen in the past 2 seasons how quickly it looks like a guy like Baylor Shireman can usurp a guy like Jordan Walsh in the rotation. Also, what is this defense by Arkansas? Did this guy just like stop playing defense because he knew Thiero was going to come in and help? Like that was crazy.
Looks like he's a guard and he just kind of got like out-muscled.
Freak athlete though.
I'm watching these and I'm like, what if they use him as a small ball 5? Just as a rim protector.
I would need to see a little bit more from him as a dunker spot guy because most of his offense is drive. Like it's just drive, 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 which is fine, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're not really going to have a lot of
There's not a
opportunities to
lot
drive if
offensively
they
here.
don't care about you on the perimeter.
Yeah. Or you just drive into nothing like he has at times in this highlight clip. Like, listen, again, he's a freak defender, insane, very fun to watch, but I get very worried that he's not going to get rotation minutes, especially for a guy like Joe Mazzulla, who very clearly doesn't like to play guys he doesn't trust. And this doesn't look like a guy you're going to be able to trust offensively.
If there was ever a time to take a swing, next year kind of feels like it. Like you have these two picks, you take one like as a safe bet, like a nice rotation big, and like maybe you take Thiero with the other one, hoping he can develop as a shooter, or maybe he's got a little bit more in the bag than we all think, and he can be like a real impact player down the line. Because there's probably going to be a good amount of opportunity next year, but at the same time, there's no guarantee that he develops. He's guarding Danny Wolf here. Just absolutely outdogged him.
I don't know, man. We can look at the Sleepers media as well, just to take a look and take a listen. But I am not super intrigued by this type of player, especially when they already have one on the roster, if that makes sense.
Thinking about the draft nowadays is so weird, by the way. Go ahead, though.
And when they don't need another wing, like that should be the bottom tier of what they need in this draft. Like you said a million times, they need a big, and they probably need a guard after that. So like taking another wing, not only another wing, but a wing who can't shoot the ball, I'm not super high on. We can listen to Sleepers media though and see what they think and look at some of their strengths and weaknesses and all that good stuff. Strengths: freak athlete, explosive, high motor, strength, finishing, playing above the rim. This is like, if I could pick something that like is my disaster prospect, this is it. Like there is nothing about his basketball skill. There is nothing about his IQ. There is nothing about his like intangibles. It is all like none of this has anything to do with actual basketball. That's my disaster prospect. When all of the strengths, when almost none of them, outside of finishing, none of these have to do with actual basketball. You could apply this to any sport. Strength is really good for a guard in football. High motor is just a super intense guy. Explosive and freak athlete are the same thing. The only actual like thing that has to do with the game of basketball here is his finishing. Everything else has to do with just him being a freak athlete, which can apply to any sport.
It's true. The draft nowadays is such a crapshoot because shooting has become a prerequisite to being in the NBA for everyone that's not 7 feet tall that can play in the dunker spot. Like it's pretty rare for anybody to
unless
be
you're
out on the
Josh
floor
Hart
consistently. Yes. And even what did Josh Hart shoot from 3 this year? He still was probably mid-30s.
I can take a look. I mean, the question is what he shoot in the playoffs when people were leaving open. He shot 33.3% from 3, and in the playoffs, he shot 37% from 3 when he was butt naked, wide open.
Playoff riser, clearly.
Well, he's also getting left open,
and a lot of that was in the Celtics series.
Exactly.
You bet. That's how it goes.
And the Pistons series. He shot really well from 3. Weaknesses. Let's see. Ready? Let's see how many of the weaknesses are actual like basketball ability.
Shooting,
3-point shooting,
IQ.
Decision making, and shot creation. All of the basketball skills are in the weaknesses. Adou Thiero, we could look back in 5 years. I could look like an idiot. He could be a phenomenal NBA player because he learns all this stuff. When a prospect's best skills are very little to do with the actual sport,
I'd be curious to see what Jalen's pre-draft stuff was. Not to say he's Jalen, but Jalen is like a guy who had question marks with his 3-point shot, explosive athlete.
But at least he was a good shot creator. Like he was an objectively good shot creator.
He was the guy for California.
Exactly. Let's see. What do we got here? One word: chaos and power. Ceiling. They both think he'll reach a ceiling, so I suppose that's a good thing. Kings and Hornets, so anywhere where he can develop without having to think about, playing big time minutes, I suppose. Let's see where else. They both think he'll be on the bench in 5 years. Most likely to wear an Arkansas shirt with Kentucky shorts. Most likely to wear gear for wherever Cal goes next, Calipari. Okay, here we go.
What does that look like for Adou Thiero? If everything breaks wrong, what's that 0.01% bad outcome for Adou Thiero? Let's start best case Who did you have?
Best case is Jonathan Kuminga. I think they're the exact same archetypes. I would say at this point, I would take Thiero as an athlete and probably a defender too. Like,
I do not hear you.
Sorry, I'm muted. What a disaster screen. We have one guy who has failed to get in the rotation for a winning basketball team for 3 years because of his inability to shoot the ball and make smart decisions. And we have an awful human being on the other side who, for what it's worth, hasn't been very good at basketball either. Like, has not been very good the last few years because he can't stay on the court and he's a mess. So if these are the best case, I mean, he was okay last year, but he shot 31% from three and 43 from the field. If these are the best case, I'm all set. If these are the best case, I'm okay.
Not good. Yeah. Kuminga's like the kind of guy you want to talk yourself into him, but no, I don't believe in it. And you never want this to be the best case. Like, two guys you really, I mean, Bridges was okay at his peak. Like, he had good years in there where Charlotte could be excited about him, but you're right. Like, he's just on and off the court. He's got all these things going on off the court, and he's not been a consistent piece for them.
They should have done Derrick Jones Jr. as the best case.
Yeah, at least that you can get behind a little bit. Like, get a dunk contest out of it, maybe.
Been a rotational player for a good basketball team before in his career, unlike either of these guys. Okay, I wonder what the worst case is. Yeah, I was gonna say Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Oh, I see it already.
Worst case, I said Rondé Hollis Jefferson, another like high athlete, good defender type who never put it together offensively, and I think lasted 6 years in the NBA before going over.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson and Stanley Johnson. They fought. They're exactly what I'm saying. Terrence Ferguson, Justice Winslow, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, all these freak athletes, really good defenders, but can't do anything else. I'm not in. I'm not in, man. None of this has sold me. We can go to the tier list. Spoiler alert: I'm not. I don't want to put him very high. So we need to clarify: is this tier list as a prospect or for the Celtics?
For the Celtics.
Okay.
It's a mix of both.
Sure. Where would you put him?
I'd put him on C tier. They don't need him. They don't need. They don't really need him. You can make the case.
Middle, then? Because I was going to put him there.
You go too extreme on some of this stuff.
If you this is why I clarified. As a prospect, I would have done like CD. For the Celtics, not only is he not a good shooter, not only is he not a good decision maker, not only is he like a pretty unwilling shooter, and not only did he have no strengths that had to do with basketball, they don't need his position. Like, it's not even like he's all of that, but at least you can talk into him as like a position fit. There's not even like you can talk into, okay, maybe you replace Drew. Maybe like you have Shireman, you have Hauser for now, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Derek White who can play the two, you have Jordan Walsh who you're still developing. Like, that is the last position you could possibly need in this draft. And so if you're going to take that position, you want it to be the best player available. And I'm in for best player available. I do not think he is the best player available.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you could make the case next season that they could need just more bodies at the small forward, power forward spots with Tatum not being there. Like, you could use somebody to eat minutes in the regular season, but I don't know if it's him. I think you mentioned Hauser. Like, Hauser might not be here next year, but drafting Adou Thiero doesn't really replace what Sam Hauser brings you. It just replaces his size. That's it. You're not getting the shooting. I think D is probably fair now that we speak about it.
My whole thing is like, I don't love Yannick Conan Niederhauser, but I would like him more on the Celtics for this because at least you can talk yourself into maybe you can develop some of that, strength and positioning that Luke Cornett has because he's got the body, he's got a position you need, and clearly he can set pretty good screens. None of Adou Thiero's skill sets meshes with anything that I think the Celtics need right now. I don't know. I just don't like that type of prospect. If you're really strongly, I'll like submit and we can go see if you'd like. But I don't.
The only reason why, like, I don't completely eliminate the wing possibility. Somewhere down the line, it would be nice to have an athlete defensive guy, but they would have to shoot to come off the bench. Like, you can't just put Ben Simmons out there. You can't. Like, it wouldn't make any sense for the Celtics to sign Ben Simmons despite him being this, like, I would say,
unless he fully buys into the Luke Cornett
defender.
role. Unless
Sure.
he fully buys into like the center role, which I don't think is an avenue Adou Thiero's.
And I think Thiero has a few more inches to grow if he's going to be a small ball 5, even despite his freak athleticism. Because those blocks were legit. He was getting up above the rim, above the square to block shots. Like it was almost Robert Williams-esque. But I don't really trust that long term. And he doesn't seem to have like the defensive feel not to completely abandon his man. Like the timing doesn't seem to be all the way there.
If we saw more clips of him playing in the Nugget spot, playing in that role, I would like him more than Niederhauser. Because I do think if he was capable of playing the small ball 5, I could see the vision. But we haven't seen anything from the tape or from his time in Arkansas that has shown that he has or can play that role. And so if you get him and you believe that you can develop him to be that, then I'd be in, because I actually think that could be a pretty useful thing to have. We don't see that. And so as he is currently constructed, I don't love it. People can dislike me in the comments if they'd like, but we'll leave it there for now. We can change if we need. If there's a lot worse prospects, then we can go from there. But make sure to leave a like. Let us know what you think about Adou Thiero down below. Subscribe, turn the notification bell on, all that same. Take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of Adou Thiero. We'll be doing more draft prospect previews over the next few weeks leading up to draft nights, two nights this year and also last year. But hit the bell because we're here every single day. New pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. We had one go up yesterday. If you missed it, go check it out. Other videos on the days in between like these to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us on Spotify and Apple as well. All pods are there. And during the season, all game recaps are there as well. Do you just want the audio versions? Go ahead, follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You can send them in. We love to hear from you guys. We've been getting a ton of emails since the offseason started, whether it's prospects you'd like to see or maybe mock trades. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's Mon NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Tic-tac-toe.